The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet, with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my site, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio. We're syndicated across the United States into 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. Welcome to the show. We're on the road to the White House, still in Ohio, the very key swing state, the one that determined the last election in 2004 when George W. Bush was reselected as President of the United States. And obviously a very key state once again. Why Toledo? Well, besides the fact that it's a great town. The other reason we are in Toledo is because once again today in a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, neighboring Pennsylvania, John McCain evoked the name of Joe the Plumber, who is not a licensed plumber here in Ohio. And the guy who blew the whistle on that is to my immediate right, your left, Tom Joseph. He is the business manager of Local 50 of the Plumbers, Steam Fitters, and Service Mechanics Union. And to his right and your further left is Bob Lynn, who is a plumber and a union organizer and IT guy extraordinaire. We wouldn't have gotten on the air today if it weren't for you. Thank you very much, Bob.
You're welcome.
So, guys, why do you take such extreme almost insult to Joe the Plumber?
Well, to be completely honest with you, we don't take extreme insult to Joe the Plumber. Okay, you know, the reality of Joe is a pretty tragic situation. You know, he's a guy that doesn't have the necessary skill sets to go out and keep himself viably employed, be able to take care of his family. Joe is really not the issue with us. The issue with us clearly is Senator McCain that's used Joe as a ploy more so than Joe himself. To be completely honest with you, we think Joe should be in here. Joe should be getting some decent training, go through a certified apprenticeship program, get his journeyman's card, and be able to take care of his family and move his livelihood to the place where it needs to be. If he chooses to be in this business, this is the place he needs to be. As far as Senator McCain has completely abused Joe the Plumber.
Well, Senator McCain would like us to think that plumbers, such as yourselves, are better off with his tax proposal than the one that Senator Obama is proposing.
Well, if we made $250,000, I think we would be correct. But the majority of the members here at this hall, we are somewhere in the neighborhood of between 70,000 and 100,000, depending on how much overtime gets worked.
Which is a good, decent wage.
Absolutely. It's a very good wage. And we have no problem being able not only to make that wage and support our family and community, but at the same time, we're not making the $250,000 that Senator Obama's plan seeks to be able to increase the taxes, or I should say actually return the tax rates to what they were before the current administration took over.
So you guys don't think that Joe is necessarily representative of the mindset of most plumbers or middle-class working people in the United States?
I don't know what mindset he is, so I can't speak to his mindset, but when you say that we make $250,000 or a business owns does $250,000, I think he just had some bad math going on there.
Right. I think Joe's indicative of a lot of people in this country that clearly don't have the information to make a good decision.
Well, let's say I'm doing pretty well. Let's say I've got a plumbing business, and let's say I'm making $250,000, $260,000, $300,000 a year. Why should I pay additional taxes more so than you?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that when you do well in this country, the reason that you do well in this country is we have educational systems. We have good roads, highways. In the case of the plumbing business, water mains, sewers, things that are, that these contractors and our members work on as a normal order of business. All these things cost money. the reality is that someone needs to pay these taxes, and we're at a point, I think we need to understand that, we've had a war here that we didn't think we need to pay for. I think it's a big ploy for those very wealthy folks on Wall Street. It's a bit of a dodge that we don't want people to focus on them. We want people to focus on Joe the Plumber. When you take a guy like Bill McGuire from United Healthcare that walked away with $1.8 billion, they don't think he should pay any taxes either. You talk about a guy like Herb Greenberg that walked away from United or AIG with $175 million and then had the gall to go back and sue him for more. These are the guys he doesn't want to talk about. So if you can continue to fool the public by talking about Joe the Plumbers of the world, that's exactly what John McCain wants to do. He doesn't want to talk about his buddies on Wall Street. He doesn't want to talk about the wealth that was created that was never taxed, that now became debt added onto our national debt. So clearly, his play is to talk about a little guy like Joe the Plumber and not talk about the Bill McGuires or the Hank Greenbergs of the world.
It's redirecting the conversation.
It's absolutely redirecting the conversation, because certainly Joe at $40,000 a year would certainly be much better off with Barack Obama's plan than he would ever be if he knew what the facts were.
We're in Ohio. It's a key state. It was a key state, the key state in 2004. Yesterday we had opportunity to interview Harvey Wasserman from freepress.org, who has been at the forefront of uncovering voter irregularities here in Ohio in 2004. And people want some kind of assurance that this election, no matter how it shapes, and here in Ohio, once again, it's neck and neck, according to the polls, for what they're worth between McCain and Obama, that when all is said and done and the votes are counted, that it's an accurate count. Have there been changes made here in Ohio to ensure that we don't have a repeat of what happened in 2004?
I believe that our new Secretary of State, Secretary of State Jennifer Brunner, has done a very good job of making sure that all people who would like to vote that are citizens of the state have the ability to be able to not only register but to